Welcome back, Style Esports fans, to another night of action. We have our Saturday night showdown here between Elventus Cyan going up against Team Takeover. I am Chris Crewman Newman. Joining me tonight is Trudabega. We're going to have some fun with this one, right, man?
Oh yeah, especially seeing one of the players here that I know. Really interested to see how he performs because he's taking a bit of a hiatus. So nice little bit of a glorious return for him.
Yeah, let us know. Who are we watching tonight, Trudabega?
It's actually Vaunted Dream. He's typically a jungle player, but it looks like he's playing for support tonight for Team Takeover.
Interesting. Well, we'll have to see how the support is going to go for this guy. I guess he's coming out of retirement, so maybe a little rusty. We'll see how he does. Should be very interesting here tonight. We are moving pretty quickly through the champion select here. Soraka, Senna, and Victor banned out by Takeover. Kane, Zed, and Irelia removed by Elventus. And we're already a couple of picks in here as well. Ezreal and Amumu is the hover.
Yeah, I mean, I think Amumu makes a fair deal of sense since people still treat it as a flex pick. You can still play it jungle, you can still play it support even after those nerfs to Bandage Toss, making the mana cost of it so high. But as long as you're landing the ability, the nerf doesn't matter a whole ton. But looks like Elventus, they're not going to flex it as they lock in a Sona pick early on. That's very interesting to me.
Yeah, definitely. Sona is, not something that we see terribly often. There have been a couple of somewhat interesting shakeups in the meta recently. Notably, Vi got a couple of very nice quality of life buffs. They actually hotfixed her already, I believe, but she definitely saw a nice little bump up in win rate there. And also of note for everybody, Predator has once again found its way to the top of many tier lists for the runes, but looks like it's going to be the Zac here for Spooky, presumably in the jungle. Not really a Predator champion, but what do you make of the pick here, Trudabega?
Well, Zac does offer a lot of long-range engage as long as you're maxing out Elastic Slingshot. And not just that, he has awkward ganking paths to play around. So people typically, they won't think about the angles that Zac typically approaches from because he can come from behind you just fine, or he'll be able to engage outside of your vision radius that people typically set up. So it's really going to be on Elventus to monitor where Zac should be and ward the uncommon spots to make sure that he won't be coming in and surprising them from behind.
Yeah, absolutely. Vision always so crucial in these games, especially when you're playing against one of those creative ganking junglers like the Zac, as you were just saying. We are now into the second phase of bans. It was Vayne to round out the first round of picks for Elventus, so should be pretty good into the Zac. Move through the bans here. Riven and Lux taken off the table by Elventus. Cyan denied from Terps here. See if they want to continue that top lane focus with their last ban, and it will be the Crocodile taken out of the game here as well.
Yeah, a whole lot of comfort being reflected in the ban strategies, even between both of these teams, taking away, what are purportedly the mains of a lot of these players, at least according to their OPGGs, like the Riven standing out chief amongst them, also the Senna there from the first phase. So Elventus here, they have to pick a solo lane. Typically you pick top lane because you want to have your mid lane to have an advantageous matchup, and yeah, there you go with a Tahm Kench.
Yeah, makes a lot of sense. Terps, generally speaking, does find himself on tanks or some kind of engage. Oh, it looks like, according to our in-client chat here, guys, that pick is actually an Ornn and not a Tahm Kench. So this is something that I know Terps has played before. Let me see if I can find those stats for us.
Yeah, definitely going to be the Ornn pick. I think that's probably a bit better than the Tahm Kench, at least in terms of like overall team play. Also, Ornn, not a bad blind pick. Tahm Kench, not bad either. But I think it's a bit more reflective of what they want to get done here. Takeover, they've locked in Veigar. I'll just pulling up those stats.
I think there are...
it's gotta be Dr. Mundo.
Wow, so matching tank with tank up there on the top side. Veigar, I believe, is played by several players over there on Team Takeover, but looks like it's going to be going into the mid lane here in this one. And Ornn is third most played here for Terp, so he is going to be pretty comfortable on that one. I have to see how he does up against the Mundo up there. Are you familiar with this matchup, Trudabega? How should we expect top lane to go?
Well, prior to his rework, Mundo was a very straightforward, like, hey, I'm picking this. They have magic damage in top lane, or they have a lot of magic damage in their comp. Mundo's a really like heavy anti-magic damage champion. Nowadays, that's a slightly different. I would say that Mundo is still a champion that you could pick into a lot of magic damage. But I also think like they're picking Mundo here to answer the general tankiness that Ornn brings to the table, because a lot of top laners can't really manage that super well. But Dr. Mundo, he's a bit different. You have those cleavers doing magic damage, but then Mundo is also heavily auto attack based. So he brings a lot of hybrid damage into the lane itself. And as far as team fights are concerned, he's just so big, he's so disruptive, and he demands attention. So I think it's a good response to seeing something like Ornn in the draft.
Yeah, on the flip side, though, Vayne paying attention to a Dr. Mundo sounds like maybe a not very fun time for the Dr. Mundo. So it will be interesting to see how Goblin down there in the bot lane plays it out. He will, of course, need to keep himself safe. It is going to be critical. It looks like he does have a Zillion, of course, to help him accomplish that. So. And I know it's so that is something that Forget is very comfortable on as well in the mid lane there. So could look pretty good for him.
Yeah. So I feel like the game plan here for Elventus, especially when you have something like a Zillion, you have a Vayne, and you have a Mumu, like you have these champions that you want to be like clear front lines, clear means of engage, but then in terms of keeping the Vayne safe, you have Sona, who scales up very, very hard into the late game alongside the Vayne. But then for added protection, you have something like Zillion that can either double bomb for stuns or use Chrono Shift to keep the Vayne alive in those hairy situations, especially when you have someone like Zac engaging into a team fight.
Yeah, absolutely. That Zillion ultimate, that Chrono Shift, will likely be critical in keeping this Vayne alive, and that will determine, once we get into the team fighting portion of the game, the mid and late game, Vayne being alive or Vayne being dead is basically going to define how these fights play out.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think, but we're talking a lot about the potential scaling that Elventus have on their side, right? And it's pretty significant. You have like hyper tanks, and between Amumu and Ornn, we already talked about how hard Vayne scales up and does into tanks like Mundo, like Zac, Sona, also in her own right, super late game scaling support. But then on the other side of things, it's not as though Takeover have drafted terrible scaling for themselves. Dr. Mundo, like we said, does reasonably well into the late game, especially with his ultimate giving him so much access to health regen. Zac, your blobs get faster the higher level you are, you become harder and harder to kill. But then you also have something like Veigar. Veigar can completely one-shot a squishy, provided that you're stacking well throughout the game. You get a stun with your cage, you catch someone out, and then you just blow up Zillion or Vayne or Sona, and something like that can be huge in a late game team fight situation. Ezreal Morgana, slight bit of disconnect if you want to talk about lane synergy, but I can understand why you want Morg, because you want to be able to black shield that vital carry for your team, either be it the Veigar, be it the Ezreal, to make sure they don't eat a bandage toss into Curse's Sad Mummy, or eat the cast of the Ornhorn, because you really need those carries to stay alive.
Yeah, absolutely. It's definitely a couple of interesting compositions that we have drafted here. Lots of frontline on both sides, lots of supportive champions as well. But true to Vega, if you had to choose one, which team would you say one champion select here for our first game?
If I'm being honest, I actually like the comp that Elventus have together. It's, in terms of ease of execution, I think it makes a lot more sense. You have two different tank engage champions here between both Ornn and Amumu, and then you have things that can follow up with it in a really straightforward way through the Sona, through the Zillion, and then Vayne, you just need to farm, you just need to scale up, and as long as they're comfortable with giving up a little bit early, they should be well enabled to survive into the late game. The problem with it being, though, I think you have to be really, really cognizant of where this Zac is going to be approaching, because if I were to point to anything, for Takeover, that is what you have to play through to get an early advantage through Zac ganks.
Yeah, definitely. Zac does, of course, as we were already talking about earlier on, have the potential to be very disruptive, even early on into the game, with those creative gank angles and that long range engage. We are just waiting out the spectator delay, guys, about 90 more seconds on that one, and we are going to be loading onto the Rift. We are going to go to a short break here, but don't go anywhere. Game 1 starts very soon. Welcome back, guys, onto the Rift for game number 1 here. And Rutabaga, or Trutabaga, we have some interesting things to talk about.
Yeah, and as we called out there in the loading screen as we're getting ready here, Predator on Vigar for Yaya, and then for Forget, opting to go with Arcane Comet, something that's a little bit unorthodox, but probably not quite as unorthodox as the Predator.
I teased it a little bit. It has been rising in priority for all roles. We saw it a lot in Worlds, famously Showmaker pulling it out on the Syndra there. But we'll see if PMA here is able to make good use of it on the Tiny Master of Evil. You of course have Team Takeover on the blue side and Elventus on the red here for game
Oh
number
dear.
1. And we're
Looks like
seeing a
Takeover's been
potential.
spotted out. Yeah, they're still on the ward.
Yeah, they're
Oh
just
no!
hanging out on the word here. Turp's gonna walk in. Spooky getting taken down relatively low here, down 50% HP. Zach running out of health. He does still have the passive though, and now it's Ornn who's in trouble. He's flashed away, trying to stay alive. Meatloaf is on the chase though, and there's the first blood. It's going over to Vagar. Mundo will also fall. Definitely a bloody start here.
Oh my god.
PMA getting locked up here by the bandage toss, and that's a flash in. The bomb connects, and Forget is going to be able to pick up another kill here. No, PMA survives, but only to fall to the sad Mamioni-chan, flashing in to finish off that kill there. Oh, what a crazy start here.
Yeah, crazy is definitely one way of putting it. Like, you see, like, you know that the enemy team isn't there. You gotta leave. I understand, like, maybe you want to commit for a red steal, but the fact that they're not there should be putting off alarm bells in your head. Maybe they warded their red defensively, or now they're gonna ward your own jungle. And Team Takeover gets hard punished for it. Zach losing your passive very early on feels terrible for that champion because you need cell division available to play aggressively, to even look for things like tower dives.
Yep, gonna make it harder for Spooky to find those early advantages that you were talking about in this early game here. We'll see what he decides to go for. Junglers are both starting up on the top side here, so likely going to be pathing down towards that bottom lane. Amumu, interestingly, skipping his Krugs there. So he's just trying to get a jump on it. The top laner's trading very heavily up here.
A little bit of a wet noodle fight. Ooh.
Tower
Turf's
shot there onto
tower
Turps.
shot.
Yeah, connecting the Q though. Meatloaf also extremely low. Has to be so careful. Zach is
Oh.
here. I think Spooky is going to look for something. This
flash.
Ornn is pushed up pretty far. He's getting knocked up. He's getting taken out. It's Spooky on the board.
Yeah, and that's also the payment for that level 1. Terps did have to burn Flash, and that means he pays for it with his
Forget
life.
memory.
Oh,
He's
man.
running out of health. He lands one bomb. He throws out the second. He does get the stun, but the last auto attack, PMA just barely able to finish off the clock there. Now we got Goblin tumbling forward down here in the bottom lane. One more auto does get the true damage proc onto Iona there, but Ezreal still with 100 HP. He's hanging on and keep farming from range.
Yeah, and the aftershocks of the level 1 fight still rippling throughout this game. The flashes burned mean absolute punishment for both Terps and Forget in top and mid. You know, the Ornn was completely flashless, which means Spooky is like, hello, slingshots right in and gets his top laner an advantage there. And then there in mid lane, Yaya didn't have to worry about a thing at all, just walked forward into the Zillion and just started auto attacking him down.
Yeah. Comet wasn't enough to save him. Predator diff, I don't know. He doesn't even have boots yet. So. We'll have to wait and see, I guess, if that's going to have more of an impact a little bit later on here. But regardless, PMA going to feel pretty good about how this early lane is going. He is down a little bit of CS right now to the Zillion, but hopefully should be able to catch up.
Yeah, but if
That's a nice binding.
I was going to say, if there is an advantage to be found here, it is going to be in Yaya's stacks for Vigar, already out to something close to 30 AP very early on. Those takedowns working very well in his favor in that regard.
Definitely. Zillion only able to connect one of the bombs that time. So again, taking not a great trade for Forget there. Vagar just going to keep stacking up that passive.
Yeah, I mean, one thing I do think is rather surprising as we hit a little bit of a lull here, is bot lane gets reset, and neither jungler has opted to, get their back end, or even earlier on than that, just get a sweeper. You really do want sweepers for jungle early so that you can facilitate ganks. Make sure that your path isn't warded out when you want to look for something. Zach, it's a little less pertinent because you're typically ganking from ungankable or from visions that is outside of the normal spots. But yeah, definitely in the case of a Mumu, you do want to be able to clear that vision out. But we got a fight going in top lane? No, not
Yeah,
quite.
Warren did just tick over to level 6, so he was looking for something a little bit aggressive there, but Mundo's Spell Shield will keep him pretty safe from that potential engage. We do have a level 6 for Forget there in the mid lane as well. That knockup will connect. Meatloaf taking a decent amount of damage. Here comes Call of the Forge God now. Terps gonna look for this. Does get another knockup, and the Brittle proc and the kill. Terps gets his revenge.
Yeah, and that is why you have to be so careful against an Ornn. Doesn't matter if the matchup's a carry, doesn't matter if the matchup's a tank. Brittle procs do max percent HP in damage. I think it's magic damage, but it just stacks up, right? You eat Brittle proc from Bellows Breath, that's one, and then you eat two more from Call the Forge God, and you're practically missing half of your health. And this early on, Dr. Mundo, you don't have resistances, you don't have much health built up, so that's just going to completely burn through you.
Yep, that's exactly right there, True to Bega. The good doctor did not respect the tank mage assassin bruiser up there in the top lane and paid for it. We'll see if Terps is able to continue to increase that advantage up there on his opposition. Getting a nice strong front line set up for Goblin down here is going to be very, very important. But here comes Zach looking for another play potentially. Not going to be able to find it though.
Yeah, this time around, Spooky did get spotted out considering where he was ganking from. Just highlights the need for that sweeper, which Spooky did pick up. It's currently on
Chan now going for maybe something, but also going to get spotted out.
Ward giveth and Ward taketh away. You can't really get much done when you're sitting on vision. But otherwise, things seem pretty subdued. I say that as top lane continues to trade. Oh.
Yeah, Meatloaf was at least able to get the wave out there, so he's going to have a back opportunity now if he would like it. Dragon has been stirred up down here by the side of Team Takeover. It's getting down pretty low here, 1500 HP. Amumu is looking for a way in here. He's going to go in with the bandage toss, but the Dragon does go over to Veigar. Oni-chan getting extremely low. He does get taken out. Now Tsundere on the run, flashing over the wall, and the Sona staying alive. The Zac is in the pass of the Cell Division. He's barely hanging on. He has one blob left. No. Just a sliver of health, and he is able to get up and get on out of there. The rest of Team Takeover keeping their jungler alive. They're able to get the Dragon, the kill, and out clean. Oh, the flash. Gets straight into the binding. He's going to walk into the cage here as well. Terps does have an engage angle here. He's going to get the knock up onto Yaya. Veigar running out of HP, flashing over the wall. It's going to be Vayne critically picking up the shutdown onto Yaya. Lots of money going to Goblin's pocket there.
Yeah, and it would have been just a little bit more earlier, except Goblin Barndon auto-attacked Vaunted instead of Spooky's blob. That last auto would have done in the blob. That would have been 300 more gold. Instead, Spooky able to get that final little bit of healing from the Cell Division passive, able to get out. But like you called out, really good that the Vayne is able to pick up the shutdown from Veigar. Nice little gold swing, and now everything staying even. 9.5 minutes into the game, obviously, Team Takeover, they were able to secure that dragon. It was very close when Odin-chan bandage tossed in, but I think he smited early. The problem.
Yeah, it was Veigar that got the last hit on it somehow. Maybe even got some stacks on the queue for that one. Didn't quite see, but regardless, it's going to be Team Takeover feeling, good about how it worked out. It wasn't clean. Like you said, it was very close. Oni-chan definitely had an opportunity to steal that one. Wasn't able to come up with it, though, as Meatloaf. You got to be careful up here. Warren's not going to go for anything right now, but Amumu is in the area.
Ooh, that's
could easily look for another play. Here comes Call of the Forge God. Mundo going to get knocked up into the air. Bandage toss connects, and here comes the Curse of the Sad Mummy as well. And poor Meatloaf just can't even move. Just got cooked.
Yeah, and hey, that's also one of those rare times when you can actually see another champion proc the Brittle from an Ornn. Brittle procs off of hard CC itself, so the Curse of the Sad Money was actually able to pop it for Terps there. Nice little punish once again coming through. This Mundo is starting to fall a fair bit behind, but hey, he had the magic boots to compensate for the gold loss. Ooh!
Ooh, that is Forget getting caught out a little bit. He's gonna throw the chrono shift down onto himself. They're trying to wait it out, but they won't be able to. He will end up going into the resurrection here. Does the cage? Is it back off cooldown? Forget he's getting underneath the tier 1. He's trying to stay alive, but let's bounce. He is getting extremely low, but Spooky's flashing out now. He's trying to stay alive, and Veigar will get the kill, but then one more tower shot. It's gonna be 2 going over to Forget. A botched dive in mid lane. It's gonna be Forget with the last laugh on that one.
Oh, but the bot lane
flash in. Vaunted looking for the true shot barrage. Finishes off the kill. Iona and Vaunted down here, making it look easy.
Yeah, that was very well coordinated. Tsundere Ice Cream got pretty aggressive there. Was like, boom, crescendo, get the stun. And Iona already had the true shot barrage ready to go. And huge punish from the aggression of that Sona. But, you know, thinking about what just happened there in mid lane, it looked so good. Starting out for Yeya and Spooky, but Yeya completely denying the blast code and said, "Your flight's been canceled, Zillion." Instead, Forget was able to walk it back to his tower. Spooky dies after tanking 1 too many hits, and then Yeya, same case, just stuck around a little bit too long.
Yeah, and now we have Zach here up in top lane, but Ornn is playing very respectfully. Terps doesn't have any vision in the river, and he's playing it cool. He's back here by his tower, just farming up very casually. Still has a level lead on Meatloaf.
Yeah, I mean, like, I think in this case, oh, wait, there's the slingshot.
Oh, there is the knock-up. Terps maybe in some trouble here. Does throw out the Bellow's Breath a little bit late. Is going to get the charge back. Trying to get underneath this tower here. Will be able to do so. Keep himself safe. Amumu also up here on the top side. Ooh, binding just going wide there in mid.
The Bellow's Breath actually wasn't poorly timed. It was appropriately timed because it canceled the pullback from Zach's stretching strikes, which nice. I'm fairly certain saves Terps from having to flash in that situation.
Absolutely. I was just referencing the slingshot, but that's an excellent point you make, that he was able to use it to get away from the stretching strikes there from Spooky. So,
Terps
keeping himself safe there. Forget's in some trouble, throwing down the chrono shift, gonna be able to keep himself alive, but not getting the revive here. And now Zach's flying in there, trying to finish off the kill, but he's not gonna have the range to do it. Amumu now looking for the bandage toss, but it goes wide to the left there. Spooky now throwing out the let's bounce, but he's not gonna really have any follow-up. Veigar's got to get out of there. Yeah, has no HP left to continue the fight. And it will be the Zach ultimate. Expended for not a whole lot of game, but he does fly in there and does get Forget in the end. Can he escape from the sad mummy, though? It's not really looking too great for him, but the cage from Yeya, he's able to save his jungler, and a nice gank from Spooky to finish off that kill.
Yeah, Forget just a little bit greedy, wanting to shove the wave in, and ends up getting hard punished for it. Spooky's still hovering around here. No, okay, it's over. But yeah, like, you have to be really, really careful in those situations, and that's what we're talking about when we mention that Elastic Slingshot offers so much engage potential. Forget thought, oh, like, Zach got chunked out a little bit. Oh, we got a TP behind in bot lane though.
Oh dear, Zillion. It is a Zillion TP flank. See what he's able to do here. Throw out the bounce, but that's a nice binding. Vaunted Dream is just completely shutting down the Vayne right now. Goblin forced to flash away from that engage from Vaunted. Now that Forget is just in no man's land here. Goblin tumbling forward now is able to get the kill onto the Morgana, and Ezreal will fall as well. It took him a little while longer, I think, than maybe we expected, but in the end, they were able to clean up this team takeover bot lane.
Oh, but Spooky, he's still looking for it. Slingshot coming in.
He wants to find something here. He's looking for Vayne, but the stretchy strikes will not connect, and now the true damage is just going to shred the poor Zach to smithereens. He's going into the passive. The teleport comes down onto the minion, which means the bloblets will not be saved. The cage does come down now. Now Zach into the cage with a revive for Vayne. And she is going to pop right back up. Tsundere does drop, but it's going to be the kill onto the enemy jungler going over to Goblin. Veigar did end up going down there as well. So overall, looks like a 2-for-1 in favor of Elventus in the bot lane.
Yeah, just constant aggression happening in this bot lane in the past minute or so, right? It starts off with Forget TPing in and being like, and after the TP completed, he was kind of looked like he kind of backed off a little, you know, in like actually towards the side of Takeover's tower, because he's like, wait, Ezreal, you're auto attacking me. I didn't, I didn't mean it. I'm sorry. But then when Oni-chan comes in, they seal the deal. They get the kills. Vaunted almost trades back onto Goblin. Oh, but forget in another bad spot.
He is in a lot of trouble here. Once again, the cage comes down, and that Zillion has nowhere to go. Yeah. Picks up another one. Number 5 for the Veigar. Terps come down now with the Call of the Forge God. Does still have the level lead, but will it be enough? He's flashing away, forced to burn the Summoner spell. Get away from the Mundo. The little over-aggressive there, perhaps, on the Ornn.
Yeah, I mean, I think over-aggressive is kind of just what's been happening this entire game between both
Speaking
of
of which,
teams.
Goblin tumbling forward, and the crescendo does connect, and Iona is going to be going down. Last hit does go over to Sundari there, but still, it's going to be another kill picked up by this Elventus bot lane.
Yeah, I mean, that was just the very tail end of Crescendo clipping Iona, and that means the Ezreal does go down. Yeah, but otherwise, you know, if we want to take stock of a few other things, I do got to point out Vaunted Dream doing really well with the vision score.
But he connected onto the tower, but they condemn straight into the wall. Can Vaunted Dream hang on long enough to get the stun? He can, but it's not connected onto the Vayne. The tower shot, the heal, and the shield, though. Never any danger calculated. This Goblin. Oh, but we do have the TP coming down here. Going to be Mundo and Veigar trying to join the fray, trying to clean this one up, and tumbling forward. Goblin able to get a kill back. Nice heads-up play by Goblin there. Kind of knew he was going to be dead regardless. Able to trade another one.
Yeah, flying in, Yaya being the race car Veigar. Unfortunately, the car crashed right into Brandon.
Too fast, too furious.
Yeah, too soon. Anyway, but yeah, like this constant amount of fighting between both of these teams is just resulting in kills all across the board. Like TPs over and over again, but so far it really looks like it's Elventus that's benefiting the most out of it.
Oh, Terps dashing away, not gonna get knocked up, and won't get pulled back either. Once again, pulling out the Bellows Breath there at the correct time. Prevent that knockback.
Ooh, Vaunted in a... Oh, that's
Ooh, does get hit by the bandage toss. Black Shield just a little bit late there, but here comes Yaya with the baby cage. Spooky over the wall, Forget in some trouble. The Chrono Shift does come down. We got the revive coming down for Forget. Oni-chan going down to about 50%. Meatloaf now collapsing as well. The True Shot Barrage gonna pick up the kill on to Forget Memory. Oni-chan flashed away now. He's trying to escape. He's trying to stay alive. Looks like he is not gonna be able to get out of there as Spooky lands another knockup, and the auto attack from Iona is good for the kill.
Yeah, Spooky just travels the span of all of that mid lane by using that elastic slingshot. One thing I do want to call out that looked really cool, though, was that Forget, just as Spooky was coming in with that initial slingshot near the blue buff, double bombed onto himself to stun Yaya. But when it procced, it also stunned Spooky. So you had a Zac like just caught in mid-air, mid-slingshot, and that was absolutely hilarious. Amazing. But otherwise, you know, I was just talking about how Elventus is coming away with a slight advantage off of all of this fighting, and now Takeover, they're coming right back into it, getting so many quick kills for themselves.
Yeah, absolutely. We are still relatively close on gold. It is a little bit over a 2,000 lead right now in favor of Elventus. See if they're going to be able to do something for this third dragon. It's going to be our first ocean dragon on this ocean rift. Going to be spawning in about 35 seconds here. Looks like we do have some players moving towards that bot side river.
Yeah, and as you said, that ocean rift would be important for both of these teams, especially because off of their compositions, both of these teams kind of want the game to go late. They want to scale up. On the side of Takeover, they want the Veigar to get big, but then on the side of Elventus, you have the Sona and you have the Vayne, and an Ocean Soul would do huge work towards the power of late game fights.
Yeah, gonna have so much value, especially for these tanky members on both of these squads. That is a binding connecting. The cage is gonna lock up Tsundere here. The Sona is running out of HP, goes down. I think the dragon actually got the last hit there on the Sona. But now the side of Team Elventus, they're still trying to burn this objective down. But the side of Takeover, they're here to contest. Spooky now flying into the back line, gets the knockback onto Goblin, but Vayne is tumbling forward in the final hour, has the invisibility. Now Zach into the cell division. Meatloaf getting absolutely shredded by this true damage from the Vayne. It's a double kill going over to Goblin. It's another kill going down, but the Vayne has gotten taken out. Yeah, he's running, he's trying to stay alive, but Turb's on the chase. It's going to be Iona maybe in some trouble now. Arcane shifting away. He's able to get the kill onto the Orin. Gets out the double bomb, and it's going to be Ezreal going down as well. Yaya is still alive. He's in a battle now against the Zillion. Battle between the mid laners here. Sona is also back onto the Rift. It's a 1v2 right now. What a bloodbath.
Yeah, bloodbath is absolutely correct about it. It looked amazing for Team Takeover when Spooky just slingshots all the way in to the back line, starts being disruptive, and almost is able to lock up Barnden. But unfortunately, the Vayne continues to hit, pops the cell division passive, and then off of that, they're able to fight back. Unfortunately, though, Yaya got that final baleful strike in against the Vayne, killed him, and it all had to be heroics. Oh, that's a steal!
Oh, the steal from Spooky. He is able to get it, but is he going to be able to get out? He gets the pullback, and Vayne just has too much damage. The elastic slingshot cooldown is not going to come back up in time, and he will sacrifice himself for that one. Still a nice steal for Spooky. You have a Rift Herald.
Yeah, they thought they had the time for it. It looked like Oni-chan decided, hey, my team has that. I'm going to pop this Rift Herald here. We're going to push it in. And then Spooky's like, wait, your jungle's still not there. Slingshot in, smites it away. Unfortunately, like you said, pays for it with his life. But hey, stacking towards that Ocean Soul is really, really important for this game, and it's really big that Spooky was able to get that.
Yeah, but at the same time here, True to Bega, the gold lead for Elventus is starting to extend a little bit here. Meatloaf is getting engaged on. Tsundere is teaming up with Terps up here, seeing what they can do. But Mundo is getting pretty tanky at this point. He's going to be able to shrug it off for now.
Yeah, as you said, Mundo getting pretty tanky, also has that Sunfire Cape completed in addition to Merc Treads. So any crescendo that Tsundere Ice Cream would land, not really going to be very meaningful against the Dr. Mundo at this point. But in addition to that, has the Spirit Visage completed, so he's able to just heal up through so much of the Sona and Orin damage there.
Yeah, it's going to be really interesting as we move further into this game around that last dragon fight in the river there. It definitely was. I liked what you were saying about how Spooky had a nice engage there over the wall. He was able to get on top of Goblin, but the rest of the team wasn't coordinated enough in following up on that and bursting out that Vayne. He was able to do so much damage, Goblin was, an extended fight. Spooky now over the wall, but no fights breaking out just yet. But I'm going to be looking very closely to see if Team Takeover is able to coordinate well enough to take down Goblin before he just shreds the front line here.
Ooh, but that's an engage.
Elastic slingshot going in. Spooky in the middle of all of these Elventus players. He's not going to be able to find a whole lot, though. Now Yaya just teleports in straight into Vayne's loving embrace. And now Meatloaf is also going to get completely shredded. The true damage from the Vayne is just too much when you whip your engage like that. You give her the chance to run you down. Just not going to be something you can really escape from. And look at this, True to Bega. It looks like Elventus is moving up to Baron.
Yeah, I mean, it looked like Yaya saw Spooky engage. He's like, I got this, bro. TP's in. His team starts backing off. And then Elventus is like, well, don't mind if we do. They eat up that Vigar. 2 more kills for Goblin Barnden. And now they have the Baron on top of it.
And now the chase. Can they pick up any more kills on the back end of this one? Oni-chan looking for the bandage toss, but doesn't quite have it. So it will be just the Baron for now. And what do you think they're going to be able to get done with this buff here, True to Bega?
They can get so much done here because Baron provides your minions with the resistance to magic damage, right? And look at what Team Takeover have as wave clear. They don't have much to begin with, but the safe wave clear that they do would all be predicated on Yaya, who is, you know, mainly dealing magic damage. So I really want Elventus here to take that Baron buff and just go forward with it across the lanes, look for something like a 1-3-1, and disengage if they get too aggressive, because you have TPs on both of your solo laners in addition to that, and just take as much of the map as possible. Don't commit for any sort of fights, just push in, let the minions do the work, take the towers, and get a huge gold lead off of it.
Yeah, absolutely agree with you there, sir. Would like to see some pressure coming out here from Elventus with this buff. More pressure, less farming of the wolves, Oni-chan. Come on, get out there, man. We do have Ocean Soul Point. Would be Ocean Soul Point, rather, for Team Takeover, but something tells me here, True to Bega, that Elventus is going to have something to say about that.
Yeah, Elventus certainly does. They have so much vision control around the pit and in the river. But then in addition to that, they're also the ones with the Baron buff. You have that bonus AD, the bonus AP as well, meaning that you have additional combat stats for this potential dragon fight. And it really looks like after throwing the vision down, Team Takeover are not too jazzed about the prospect of trying to stick in or even push their vision forward into the river.
Yeah, they took over that area, behind the dragon pit, but they're really, going to need to take a little bit more than that if they want a chance at getting this objective. Or maybe Spooky could just go for a steal again. He's already gotten one this game.
Yeah, indeed he did. And there, look, it's like Elventus is trying to clear out the control wards that the Team Takeover put in the Dragon Pit brush there as part of the Ocean Soul map. Oh, wait, that was a tumble into a binding!
Binding connecting. Goblin in some trouble here, but he does have the Chrono Shift still, and that's a lot of abilities used by the side of Team Takeover. Goblin's still alive, actually. He's already shredded Zac. He's back into the Cell Division once again, and the binding will not connect this time. And it's going to be a couple more kills going over. Spooky, wait, he's back up. He's trying to turn around. Vayne is down. It's Team Takeover. They're trying to take this fight. Meatloaf, he's taking a fight out of Oni-chan right now. The Meatloaf is eating the mummy today. Terps now trying to peel for his jungler. Dragon is still on the table here as well. Nobody's been able to take out this objective yet. Oh, no. Meatloaf, he's trying to take down this guy, and now the Veigar has fallen. Yaya's been taken out. Team Takeover, they've lost their mid laner and their AD. They were able to take out the Vayne, but I don't know if it was enough here, True to Vega. Meatloaf is still alive, but he's zoned out of the pit, and it will be the Dragon going over to Elventus.
Yeah, Spooky thought he was a little bit disengaged, and then Tsundere Ice Cream came sweeping in from behind, finished off the Zac, eliminating any possibility of a steal, but breaking down that fight itself. It looked so hairy for Goblin, tumbling into that dark binding, getting knocked up by the elastic slingshot, but then not only did the Chrono Shift go onto him, which dissuaded aggression, but in addition to that, you're a Vayne with a Bork and a Mortal Shield Bow and a Gwynsus. You just auto-attack a few times, and you start healing like mad, and that's exactly what happened for Goblin. That's why he stayed alive for so long. But then as the fight broke out, it looked a little bit hairy, and then unfortunately, as you said, Iona did end up falling. Yaya, caught with his pants down in the middle of the river and then completely blown up. And so now the Dragon score is all tied up.
It sure is. We're 2-2 now. And this gold lead, it's up to about 10,000 at this point in favor of Elventus. And this Vayne is so very, very strong. Level 14 still. A couple more levels until the last skill point in that ultimate in that final hour, but still, like you said, those 3 items, it's just so hard to play against this for the side of Team Takeover.
Yeah, I mean, like, taking a quick look at the gold, the richest player on the Rift is Goblin. 12k gold overall in the pocket. So we got a gank here in the top lane.
Going in, Terps is the target. He's throwing down the Call of the Forge God, and he's got a teammate joining as well. You have a teleport coming down for Forget. He does have the Chrono Shift available if necessary, and the slingshot will be denied as Spooky gets taken out once again. Meatloaf on the run now.
Oh, that's a crescendo.
Pursuit. That's the crescendo onto 2, and Goblin is set up beautifully for the cleanup crew. He's able to pick up a couple more kills. Meatloaf will fall as well, and it looks like that's going to be all she wrote for game number 1. Maybe.
Yeah, I mean, they don't quite have the minion waves set up in either top or mid, and you also see Yaya pushing in bot trying to get something back after that catastrophic teamfight loss. But just to highlight a little bit of a problem, Spooky, Meatloaf, what are you guys doing? Trying to take out a level 16, I believe, at the time. Ornn, that ain't happening.
It wasn't.
I'm sorry. That's not the play, especially when you know that the Baron is coming up in under a minute. You are not supposed to be dying there. You do not hard commit for that Ornn. It is very, very difficult for you guys to kill him. And yeah, a bit of a wasted effort resulting in the complete loss in control of the map.
Well, I may have called it a bit prematurely here, Trudabega, but regardless, the point does still stand that this is an extremely difficult position for Team Takeover to even imagine finding a way out.
Oh,
Baron is the target. Spooky, he is going to look for it, but there's still 50% HP on the Baron. How is this fight going to look? Goblin Barndon is still pretty safe out there on the back line. He is trapped in the cage now. He's going to flash out of it, keep himself safe, but the Everfrost does connect, and there's the cleanse. There's the damage coming out. Goblin continuing the chase there. He's going to be able to do some more cleanup. Vaunted is trying to run. He's trying to get out there. He has a sliver of HP left, but the Q from Ornn doesn't quite have the distance. A nice Bellows Breath going to be able to deny the binding there. Vaunted still on the run. Looks like he might actually be able to get out there, but the Baron has nowhere to go, nowhere to hide, and has been slain by Oni-chan. 5 men strong inside of Elventus. They're marching down mid lane.
Yeah, and Vaunted is just getting completely corralled here, not going to be allowed to back. That should be just
execute.
Yeah, there we go. That's the kill. Yeah, forget count. 1 auto attack in.
All he needed.
Absolutely tragic in those kind of moments. But you know, the reason why Vaunted is there, before talking about that team fight, the reason why Vaunted is there is Spooky went down, right? And then Oni-chan was still in the pit. He ate a binding, and Vaunted's like, this is my moment. If I can kill the jungler, maybe my team can have the opportunity for a steal. And then Forget walked in there and chrono shifted the Amumu. and then Vaunted was like, well, that's not good. It started running for the hills. But otherwise, yeah, I feel like a lot of what Takeover is doing right now is almost purely reactive. They know what Elventus wants to do, and they're just doing their darndest to make sure it doesn't happen yet. They are trying to buy time, give Yaya time to get more and more AP and become more and more of a threat. Maybe Iona can also start doing more damage. It looks like he's working towards maybe a Lord Dominic's or a what's the item called? Cyrilda's Grudge, perhaps?
Oh, yeah.
Just to try to get through this meat line that Elventus have at the moment.
Dragon number 5 has been started up here, folks. They're leashing it out of the pit, trying to get as much distance as possible. Spooky is going to get in there. He went pretty early once again here, but Dragon is getting very low. It is claimed by Oni-chan, able to get the smite this time around. Spooky will get cleaned up here. The rest of the team, I don't know if you guys really wanted to stick around there, as that's going to be Yaya going down, and Meatloaf just getting absolutely shredded here. They're cutting him into nice, thin pieces as Vaunted Dream trying to peel for his squad. He does land a decent amount of CC there, but he will end up going down here eventually. There is just no chance for him to escape as Mundo tries to TP to get himself out of there. It is actually able to do it. The Mundo passive prevents that Condemn from going through, but Terps is teleporting into the base there. The Nexus is the focus, and now the game is well and truly over, Trudabega. We're going to game 2 with Elventus up 1-0.
Yeah, I mean, we called it out that, you know, Elventus, they wanted the Vayne to scale up. The Ornn and the Amumu, they'd get so darn tanky. And that's exactly what happened. Ornn became unkillable. Amumu, CC machine in his own right. But also one thing I do want to call out pretty well was Forget. Using chrono shifts at reasonably good times and finding good opportunities to do so. Chrono Shift is an ability that's just super, super frustrating to play around because it just forces your team to stop aggression. You have to wait for it to either get popped, or you have to pop the Chrono Shift and let them come back to full health and hope that you've won the team fight in the meantime. So it's a really, really difficult situation that Team Takeover was placed into as far as comp is concerned, because the only champion they really could play towards was Veigar or Yaya on Veigar there. But otherwise, Elventus, they had their game plan. It was much easier to execute, and they definitely got it done.
Yeah, absolutely, man. I think it's a great call out. You could really see the comfort that Forget had on that Zillion pick. He did have so many great chrono breaks there to save his teammates and at important moments in the game. We are getting the lobby ready here for this second game. I'm not really too sure if the teams need some time to prepare here.
Oh, they're already in pro draft. Yeah.
I guess we're going straight into Champion Select here for game number 2, guys. So no delay necessary, no rest for the wicked, as it were.
Yeah, but teams are on different sides here. Elventus finally there on the blue side takeover. Red, not much of a difference as far as ban strategy is concerned, as far as I can tell.
It was Team Takeover's selection, is that correct, for side for the second game? I believe that is how it works, where the loser has side selection. So I wonder if they feel like they're going to get some value here out of that last pick. They have maybe something spicy that they've prepared.
Ooh, that's interesting.
Well, we are seeing 80 carries prioritized here for the first couple of picks in the draft. Ezreal going over to Goblin here. Vayne was available, but I guess blind pick Vayne is not really it. The Ezreal will be matched by the Caitlyn here for Iona.
Yeah, so typically I find this kind of interesting that Elventus decides to put high priority on getting Ezreal here. Like taking a quick look, Ezreal does show up into Goblin's most played with 9 games, 67% win rate, and a very respectable 5.37 KDA. So perhaps it's something that Goblin really feels like he can pilot, at the very least, much better than Takeover's bot lane. You can see that might be a Lux support if this Victor gets locked in. And yeah,
I think it's pretty likely. Yeah, Ezreal Lux is infamous for the power of that poke lane. And again, Lux is going to be pretty solid into the Morgana here.
Yeah, Takeover, I don't think Vaunted performed terribly on the Morgana, but once again, you are locking Morgana early, and Elventus, they're like, okay, we're going to pick another heavy magic damage support. And it's really hard for Black Shield to feel meaningful in that case, but wow, I do have to say, both teams picking their mid lane also really early on. That's quite surprising to me.
Yeah, I mean, once it was locked in for the side of Elventus, I think it does make some sense for Takeover just go ahead and match that, since you know what the matchup is going to be. You don't necessarily want to risk your mid laner's champ pool getting banned out there. But we are, speaking of bans, we are moving through that second phase of bans pretty quickly here. Ornn and Jarvan taken off the table by Team Takeover, targeting Terps and Oni-chan there respectively. Looks like it's going to be Ribbon and perhaps another top laner taken out of Meatloaf's pool. We know he generally likes to play those carries up there, but they're just going to take away the Mundo instead. You know, they weren't able to get the win with it last game, but still maybe just taking Meatloaf off of Comfort is going to be valuable here.
Yeah, especially you just want to remove the possibility that Mundo can get big from the realm of possibility in that case. And also take a look at what Takeover has drafted so far, right? They've drafted Caitlyn, Morgana, LeBlanc. They need things to act as a front line for them. Volibear is a decent enough start, although it's not a hard tank pick. What it is, it's also flexible between top and jungle, so it's reasonable to lock that in. Say, hey, we don't really want to show off what we're going to be doing with this pick. We want to see what you guys lock in on blue side. And Elventus, they're hovering to Zac, and wow, they go for it.
Interesting. So Zac switching teams. It was, of course, piloted by Spooky in our previous game, but it's going over to Oni-chan this time around. See what he's going to be able to do with the pick. I am very intrigued already here, taking a look at our junglers as well as our bot lanes. Both of these bot lanes really want to get the shove, and both of these junglers love to dive. So bot lane could swing quite heavily, depending on how that early lane goes.
Yeah, and I feel like to some degree Elventus is kind of throwing the gauntlet down, right? They're like, okay, you guys locked in Ezreal last game, we're gonna lock in Ezreal last game. You guys locked in Zac last game, we're gonna lock in Zac last game, or this game. And wow, they actually switch over to a Cho'Gath pick for their top lane. That's very scary. Because, oh, that's also really scary.
The Sylas. What do you think about that last pick for Team Takeover? Do you think they got good value there for Yaya?
Okay, so assuming that that's a mid lane Sylas, that would be going to Yaya, but considering they already have LeBlanc,
true.
the LeBlanc is probably for Yaya, The Silas, though, that is going to be going top lane, and it's going to be a feast party this game. You're going to have Cho'Gath on one end, Silas on the other, and they are going to want to chow down.
Yeah, absolutely. Very appropriate for, the summoner named Meatloaf.
Yeah.
I wouldn't have it any other way.
Yeah. Guy's hungry, man. Don't get much food in top lane.
Yeah. Gotta eat at every opportunity. See how many meals he's able to find up there this game. But what do we think about this mid lane matchup? Let's look there first. Victor into LeBlanc. How do we expect this one to play out?
That could be very potentially frustrating for Victor, just because LeBlanc has so much ability to be mobile. You can distort back and forward just to harass. But the other side of it is that LeBlanc, it's like you're trading one thing off for another, because you either want to be using your distort to push the wave out, then look for roams to either top or bot lane, or you want to use your distortion in combination with your Sigil of Malice as well as your chains to be harassing the enemy mid laner. And if you do one, it's harder to do the other. But meanwhile, Victor, with your Death Ray, you're like, okay, I can wave clear. Just wave clear and just push things in. Oh.
So you were just saying that Yaya is going to have a couple of options here in how he wants to play this one out. So do you have any hunches or any expectations or any personal preferences on how you think he should go about it, or what you think he's going to go for here?
Okay, so personally, when you see something like a Cho'Gath in the top lane, it's harder to want to roam top. If I were in Yaya's position, I would just try to shove the lane out and then try to roam bot lane. Ezreal is mobile, but Lux isn't. And you have something like Caitlyn Morgana, and you can look for an opportunity to just hammer that bot lane. The other side of it, though, is that you can try to fake Victor out, right? Try to shove the lane out, then walk out of vision, have an entrance warded, and then from there surprise Victor in his own jungle and get a lot of damage down.
Very, very interesting. We'll see what he decides to go for here. Yeah, did have a decent performance last game, I feel, on the Veigar. He did have some nice cages there. I think he was generally positioning pretty well in the fights. It'll be fun to watch him on something a little bit flashier this game, maybe something with the potential to do a little bit more in the early minutes.
Yeah, I mean, I would say overall, Yaya's positioning was decent in the previous game, except for two instances that I can just think of off the top of my head. One was TPing into the entire
that one was
group of Elventus. The other one was in the final team fight. He actually walked forward past his own Dr. Mundo to look for the stun to throw the cage down, and then Vayne was like, hello, and started auto-attacking him down to death. So yeah, you have to be really mindful, but obviously Veigar and LeBlanc, those are two completely different champions, so it'll be really, really interesting to see how Yaya chooses to pilot this pick.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, he's got a very strong early game jungler paired up with him as well in the Volibear and the bot lane, which of course we've also discussed already. Maybe we should turn our attention down there towards that bottom side here, True to Bega. Goblin and Sundar Ice Cream did overall seem to be getting the better end of that lane in our previous matchup between these players down there in this bot lane. But with these new champions, with this fresh look, do you think maybe Iona and Vaunted are going to have a chance to turn the tables on them here in game 2?
Well, that's a bit of a difficult question to answer because, like you called out, Morgana doesn't like playing into heavy magic damage in the bot lane. And Lux is definitely a pick that brings a lot of magic damage to the table. Overall, in addition to that, Lux, Ezreal, that's a huge poke bot lane. While Caitlyn is a super long range AD carry, all it takes is one binding. All it takes is a couple of E's, and Caitlyn does get poked out, and it's really, really hard for Vaunted to get anything proactive done. So these are actually just two classic bot lane combos, that are drafted here. And I think it's really down to who's landing their CC, right? Will it
Yeah.
be Vaunted landing a Dark Binding onto either Ezreal or Lux, or will it be Sundar Ice Cream binding the Light Binding onto either Vaunted or Iona? And whoever can get that damage down can potentially really take control of the bot lane for their team.
Yeah. In our last game, maybe just some slight positioning errors for the side of Team Takeover at important moments in the game. Not able to organize their team fight correctly. Not able to take out Goblin on the Vayne. He just got pretty much out of control and took over that first game. So it's going to be interesting to see here if they're able to clean it up a little bit heading into our second matchup here. Over on the side of Elventus, of course, they're quite happy with how game number 1 went, and they've taken a couple of the champions that were piloted by their opponents in that first game. They said, we'll beat you again, and we're going to use your comp this time. See if they're able to make that one work. You think there's some potentially some mental damage that could be inflicted by employing such a strategy?
Yeah, I mean, I think the really important thing, because you're talking about like the mental going into the second game, right? You got to shut off what happened in game 1, right? Don't worry about the loss. Focus on doing your best to win this game in front of you right now, and thinking about the two comps. The thing that's most important to me for the side of Team Takeover here is Meatloaf with this Sylas pick, because there are so many ultimates that you should be comfortable to take as Sylas here. It's not just Feast. You're also thinking about, oh, I can take Final Spark from Lux, or True Shot Barrage, or the Chaos Storm, or even Zach's own like Let's Bounce. All of those ultimates are things that scale really well with AP and can be really, really disruptive. So it's really important for Meatloaf to be stealing the right ultimate at the right times to use it appropriately.
It's going to be an exciting one regardless, folks. We are waiting out the rest of the spectator delay here. Once again, we're down to about 90 seconds on that one. And once again, we are going to go to a short break. But it's going to be a banger matchup as we continue this best of 3 between Elventus, Cyan, and Team Takeover. Game 2 starting soon. welcome back, guys. We are here. We're ready to get started with our second game of the night, second game of this best of three. Teams, again, have swapped sides. Elventus moving over to the blue side here, and Team Takeover taking up positions there on the red. Pretty defensive opener here, True to Bega, from Team Takeover for their second game. Just a 5-point. Wanted to try to prevent any of those cheeky level 1 invades from coming through here.
Yeah, and on the side of Elventus, they're definitely not doing anything wildly aggressive at all. Uh, that being said, they don't really put any sort of defensive vision down. You do see one ward at one of the red jungle entrances, or red side jungle entrances, but they weren't really punished for that. There were no forward wards put down by either team, so everything starts out, roughly even. But otherwise, taking a quick look at the runes and masteries, nothing too shocking being done by either of these teams.
Yeah, is going here for the electrocute. No Predator LeBlanc or anything silly like that. That's a very standard choice on the illusionist there. As we pan down to the bot lane, I am really interested. I definitely agree with what you were saying towards the end of Champion Select. There, it really does come down to just who lands more skill shots down here. Nice E there from Tsundere, able to pick up first skill shot blood.
Yeah, man. The thing is that something that is just so important for bot lanes early on that I think a lot of people don't give vocal admission of, or recognition of rather, is that supports. It's so important for the supports specifically to control the bot lane, right? AD carries, a lot of AD carry players really try to focus hard on farming, so it's really up to the supports to set the tone for how the bot lanes are going to be going.
Oh, speaking of setting the tone, we're having some very heavy trading once again here across the map in the first few minutes. Both top laners down to about 50%. Although both top laners also do have some sustain, so they might be able to heal back up here. But it was also a very nice light binding from Tsundere down here just a moment ago, able to get a lot of damage down onto Iona. Vaunted, I'm not sure if he's scaled up a Black Shield yet. Looks like he has Pool and Binding. Does not have access to that Black Shield yet. AD carry taking a lot of poke damage here already 3 minutes in.
Yeah, and this is very much... Oh, we got a gank coming in.
There is here. Terpsy needs some trouble getting locked up by the chains. He's flashing away, trying to stay alive, but I do not think that the flash will save him. Does land a nice rupture on a 2, and these guys are slowed to Stormbringer, and that's the flash follow. Spooky just going to make sure he gets the kill. Ooh, that was pretty close, actually. I don't know. Terps might have been able to walk it out if he didn't go down to that last auto attack, but Spooky is able to get that kill. Picks up first blood for Team Takeover here in Game 2.
Yeah, nice grab on that first blood as you mentioned. But in addition to that, though, Terps was able to force the Volley Bear to get the flash through. So it becomes an even trade on summoners. Whoa!
There's not done. Spooky looking for another play. The early game power of this Volley Bear, but he did find himself in tower range there. He may be powerful, but he's not more powerful than turrets, unfortunately, for Spooky. So he will trade himself there. It was well-timed from Oni-chan to be in position to counter-gank this time around. That means he will be able to secure himself that bot-side Scuttle Crab as well. So still pretty close here in the early minutes.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think one thing that's like super, super important to consider is Spooky misplayed that a little bit, going a little too far forward. You're not level 6 yet. Ooh.
Forced to flash there. Gotta respect the Cho'Gath damage.
Yeah, it's always scary when you get knocked up by a Cho'Gath because he's a champion who, while he has high AP ratios, most people don't get too much AP on Cho'Gath, if at all. The thing that really sneaks up on everyone is the fact that his base values are just so darn high, and that he sustains really well, provided he's last hitting properly. And that's what Meatloaf has to be really, really aware of. But we got another gank here in mid lane.
3-man play now in mid lane. Forget is just going to get locked up by the Dark Binding, and he's going to get taken out by Spooky. Gives him a claw right in the throat. Forget goes down for the second time this game. A couple of deaths already on the Victor. Not really where he wanted to be. Trips looking forward. Wanted to get that grass proc. Yes, new Meatloaf had everything on cooldown, so felt comfortable to walk up for that. Got to be careful. Cho'Gath is extremely low down here.
Yeah, but as long as Terps stays inside his minion wave, doesn't walk too close to Meatloaf, it's equally as precarious for that Silas, especially when you don't have Kingslayer available. And there comes the Zac, but
Oh,
another gank
forget.
in mid.
The gravity will keep Forget safe this time around, but Spooky is just relentless in his pressure towards this mid lane.
Ooh, see there, the Meatloaf already hit 6, and looked like there's a ping for a gank.
Oh,
Oh
Meatloaf
dear.
went in, and there's the chomp. Terps gets eaten up there by Meatloaf. Meatloaf is eating good tonight, and he's looking for more. It's that looks like a little bit of a goopy entree, but he wanted it. Not gonna be able to get it, as Zac will be able to get out of there. But still, a nice kill picked up for Meatloaf.
Yeah, not just that, already an early dragon. Look at this potential 4-man in the bottom lane coming in.
Oh, yeah. I think Tsundere and Goblin are in a lot of trouble here. That's a lot committed onto the Lux. Goblin to stick around there. Goblin, you got to get out there. There's the arcane shift, but Yaya is able to distort right back to where he needs to be to secure that kill. And is going to be 2 picked up by Team Takeover in this bot lane.
Yeah, and not just that, Terps went for a tower dive in top and paid for it with his light.
Man.
So things go from bad to worse already
Wow.
here in game 2 for the side of Elventus, Cyan. It's just really, really hard to be playing when, both your top and your mid have just died a fair number of times. But that being said, bot lane is at a decent-ish 2v2 advantage, just considering where Goblin and Barnzen are. Or sorry, Goblin and Tsundere Ice Cream are. My bad. I was looking at this one name on both words. But then in addition to that, Forget also has a decent CS lead over Yaya in this mid lane. So yes, he's definitely still down on gold, but it's not as much as you might think it is. If you take a quick look, it's just about 300. So the CS is doing a lot of work to, mitigate that difference.
Yep, definitely. But still, we should compliment Team Takeover for coming out swinging here in this second game. They got beat down pretty bad towards the end of that first one. They're looking pretty strong here.
Yeah, I mean, like when Meatloaf is able to get that initial feast off just so quickly, it
Oh,
just became so punishing for Terps, as well as Oni-chan. The problem with it is when Silas gives Silas an inch and he starts taking a mile, you can see Meatloaf has so much control in this top lane
yeah.
already.
2 levels up on the Cho'Gath. Not sure how close Terps is to 7. Does just tick over now. But absolutely right there, True to Vega. Meatloaf running things up here for the time being. That is going to be an attempted slingshot onto the LeBlanc, but not going to be very successful because she is LeBlanc after all.
hmm And yeah, that's what you just have to be so careful for as Forget here. The one thing that has been working out is that Yaya has been dedicating a lot of time and a lot of pressure towards just getting damage down as this
Ooh,
LeBlanc.
there
Oh,
is
that
the
pop up.
knockup going to connect this time. Maybe forced to flash away from that one. Will be able to keep himself safe, but Oni-chan's commitment to the play does reward him. But look at this in top lane. Spooky finds himself another play. This Cho'Gath is completely out of the game at this point.
Oh yeah, already 4 deaths in and not the 9-minute mark. There is just not anything that Terps can do in that situation. Your tower gets turned off by your
Ooh, the true
Stormbringer.
shot barrage and the
Oh,
final spark combined to take
that
out
combo.
Vaunted there on the Morgana. Iona trying to press forward now, trying to look for something. Cannot find it. A nice pick there from Goblin and Tsundere, landing their skill shots.
Yeah, that was absolutely dirty as they
Ooh,
comboed their
yeah.
ultimates.
Going for
Oh
it, dropping
dear.
the ignite here and the fade away. Cool guys don't look at burning victors, but it will be the kill traded back as Oni-chan flies in there to take out Yaya in revenge.
Yeah, finally does go down here. Gets that solo kill on Forget first, though.
Yeah,
But
but he
right
did lose
now,
his Dark Seal stacks.
yeah,
Going down there.
it's really important losing those Dark Seal stacks. But otherwise, the drivers of this game are still very much team takeover, right? Your
Oh, yeah.
jungler is 3-1. You have the early Rift Herald. You got an early Dragon. honestly, just keep, pedal to the metal, keep forcing, keep going, especially in these solo lanes, because like you said earlier, that Cho'Gath is kind of out of the game already. Whoa.
Yeah. Spooky has already been getting so much work done here this game on the Volibear. I love how active he's been on the map. Skill shots down here in bot lane couldn't quite connect this time around, but that Lux ultimate cooldown, even early on, is pretty short. So Sundera should have it to look again relatively shortly. Probably not before this dragon spawns in 20 seconds, but we'll see who all has priority down here towards this bot side for that objective.
Yeah, as you called out, the Lux ult Final Spark got its cooldown reduced early by 20 seconds off at the rank 1 ultimate. So that's why that Lux ult already just about to come off cooldown here,
Yeah.
roughly in time
It actually
for
is
the
in
dragon.
time, yeah. But
Oh
Spooky doesn't
dear.
really care about the dragon. He just wants to eat some more Cho'Gath. Really likes the taste, I suppose. And he will be able to get his fill up there. They're going to be able to take out that turret as well. As Yaya try to trade with the Victor here in mid lane. True shot brush. Oh, Iona. No, the heal is not going to save him. The flash forward. They're able to get another kill. Vaughn now going golden. Also has to flash to keep himself alive. Now Yaya landing another chain. The ultimate gets off the other chain. The mid laners going to execute each other at the exact same time there. But it's the advantage still for the side of Elventus Cyan, thanks to picking up that kill in the bottom side. And they'll be able to tie up this dragon count at 1-1.
Yeah, but you say that, and as the camera pans over to top lane, Meatloaf knocking on that tier 2 tower already.
Spooky
And
is
oh, here
knocking
comes
on
Spooky.
this Ezreal. And he is going to be able to take him out, no problem at all. Here comes the Exhaust Sundari now in a whole lot of trouble. The binding does go wide, but it's not necessary, as the Lux will also drop. Oni-chan even committing the Zac ultimate there. Try and save his support, but was not successful. But look who's made his way down. It's a Meatloaf. He's opting into the 1v2. He's probably strong enough to do it. But Oni-chan and Forget Memory, they're able to retreat in time. Not go down to this incredibly strong Silas. And he did waste his flash there on the side of Meatloaf.
Yeah, you burn the Silas flash, but it's going to be a long time before Terps starts feeling relevant in this game again, just relentlessly hammered in that top lane. One tiny silver lining, if there is one to be had, is that he has kept the CS even, right? You're not falling but super far behind in that regard, but obviously Meatloaf is starting to run rampant here. You also saw Spooky just barrel into that river after the dragon was completed, took Goblin Barnden off the map.
Oh,
And
yeah.
yeah, it's just a precarious situation that Elventus find themselves in at the moment. And I really feel like they're grasping at straws. They're trying to find what they can to just hold their footing for as long as possible. Hopefully, play through bot lane
Ooh,
and
here
like
come the
find an
spells.
advantage there. Oh man.
Vaughn eating a lot of damage there. The True Shot Barrage, it does not connect. Might have been able to get the kill, actually, if that one had found its mark. Goblin not going to be able to find it just yet.
Oh dear.
Tsundere Ice Cream. Maybe in some trouble, but does connect to the light binding. Peel for himself. Oni-chan is also in the area here, but Yaya over the wall, waiting patiently. Silas has just rotated down to mid lane. We have some interesting assignments here. Volibear is just 3-manning bot, and LeBlanc is hovering between the two lanes right now. Forget going to find himself in a 1v2 as that chain does land, and the Victor has no way out. Will get taken out once again. Both solo lanes for Elventus here in Game 2 have gone down 5 times already, as Oni-chan getting locked up here, throwing out the Zac ultimate once again, finding over the wall, not going to land. But it's just the side of Takeover. They're winning across the map here.
Yeah, and it's just about to hit that 15-minute mark.
Ooh,
And
another final spark. Oh, Iona just gets executed there. Hit by a binding, and you are just dead.
yeah, and this has really been like the one thing that Elventus has had going for them this game, the bottom lane, specifically Sundar Ice
Yeah.
Cream, continuing to find these bindings and really make Iona, and to a lesser degree Vaunted, just not too relevant in this game, right? Like you see Goblin Barndon already about to finish. Yes, there it is. The Divine Sunder already done. Meanwhile, Iona still working towards their own mythic item. Remains to be seen what they want to go, but at this point, eating so much damage, I feel like you might want to just bite the bullet and get the Mortal Shield Bow because you're getting bursted over and over and over again.
Yeah, I mean, it feels pretty bad when you're going up against Terps and Oni-chan on Cho'Gath and Zac. Then you probably would rather go Kraken Slayer. I know Caitlyn can do some pretty nasty things with Gale Force as well. But we'll see what he decides to go for. Maybe he agrees with your point there about just needing to stay alive, survive this burst from the Ezreal Lux. But it is Rift Herald number 2 has been started up here by the side of Team Takeover. They should be stronger in the fight, but here comes Oni-chan looking for the steal. He is not going to be able to find it as Forget is in a whole lot of trouble now. He's going to get taken out by Meatloaf. Silas is just an absolute terror at this point. And Elventus, they wanted to try and contest, but they get nothing.
Yeah, the thing is, Elventus, you have to staunch the bleeding, which means you have to be comfortable with giving up objectives. Obviously, It's rough to give up an additional Rift Herald here, but you really shouldn't be trying to contest it. Oh, Terp's in a bad spot.
Bear Ultimate not available, but they're not going to need it. Oh, yeah, flashing forward. I thought he was going to be able to pick up the kill with that last auto attack, but Cho'Gath is deceptively tanky, even when he is this far behind. He's still a big boy. That is the Everfrost going to lock up Lux and Meatloaf. He's not even taking any damage. He's just walking over this Lux right now. 3 levels up, Meatloaf, and he lands the chains as well. Goblin gets taken out. Kill credit going over to Yaya on that one, and they're dropping hail. They're looking to take out this bot lane tier 1.
Yeah, and Meatloaf is just having a field day in this game so far. Ooh, Death Ray, OP.
Oh, wow. Yeah, Vaunted just took a Death Ray to the face there. I didn't even see him go down. I was just, wait a second, how did Morgana die?
It was the aftershock damage Vaunted didn't fully account for and just completely took out the last of his health bar. Ooh, whoa.
Once again, Oni-chan looking for a steal there, but once again, he wasn't able to find it, as Volibear is quite good at securing objectives.
But yeah, like, I'm not entirely sure if Elventus, has that like just sustained game plan in mind. Obviously, it's a really rough spot you find yourselves in when you can see that every single member on that top side of Team Takeover here has a significant gold bounty, right? 500 on Meatloaf, 500 as well on Spooky, and now 300 on Yaya. It's really, really hard to deal with the top mid jungle combo of Team Takeover, especially when Spooky has just been diving relentlessly on this Volibear.
Yeah, and you can see Yaya stacking his books up again. He went to the library, he picked up a few more. But, the silver lining for side of Elventus perhaps is, if they are able to stall the game out, I am inclined to argue that they do have the better scaling comp. With Victor, Lux, Cho'Gath, you have a lot of power there in the late game. And Volibear, Caitlyn, these champs should fall off a little bit over on the other side. But it's over a 4,000 or right around a 4,000 gold lead right now for the side of Team Takeover. And they are continuing to press their advantage.
Yeah, absolutely. And like, as you said, the damage can start to fall off a little bit more, but something that you really need to be accounting for against this team that Team Takeover have is you need heal cut. You need to reduce the amount of healing that Silas brings to the table with Kingslayer, that Volibear has access to.
Oh, they're engaging on Meatloaf. Here. He's very far forward in the lane. He does have the Victor ultimate that he's dropped now. He's going back in and gets it. There's that healing you were talking about. Meatloaf getting a lot of HP back there, but Oni-chan not willing to give up on this play. Meatloaf, once again, though, they really do need that heal cut that you were talking about there, man, as Iona is going to get knocked up by the Rupture. Terps has the Feast available, and he is going to devour the Caitlyn down there. Meanwhile, mid lane, Lux does get taken out, so 1-for-1 across the map, but this mid lane tier 1 will fall as well, which means more gold in the pockets of Takeover.
Yeah, Terps finally finding a little morsel for himself as he chomps on Caitlyn, but on the other, everywhere else on the map, things are still super difficult for the rest of this team.
Trying to burst Goblin, but he just gives over a freebie. missed the chains there, was not able to take out the Ezreal, and just gives him 1,000 gold for no reason.
Yeah, that was a terrible blunder from Yaya, just looking for the dive and then just standing under tower looking for the chains. In addition to that, it's like, look, dude, you messed
For
up, just
3 tower
distort that.
shots.
Yeah, like, also, now you've lost your Magi stacks, too.
Okay,
It
Spooky
was a
once again gonna
terrible
find
decision.
a giant void monster to claw at a little bit.
OTP
Turf's
coming
down
in.
50% HP. Dark Binding will not quite connect, but he is still running out of health very, very quickly here, and Spooky is gonna be able to pick up the kill, but look at this. Onichan flying in now. They're able to pick up the enemy jungler in response. Victor gonna get rooted up by the Dark Binding. Want to Dream underneath the tower, keeping himself safe.
OTP coming in
the
behind.
mid lane once again. Yeah, we got the flank from Meatloaf. He's gonna look for it, and Onichan now taking a couple of tower shots. He might be in some trouble here. Meatloaf has a nasty flank here, right behind all 3 of these guys. He's going into the low HP Zac here. He's taking a lot of damage in response.
Oh,
That's the
shut down.
flash in. It's gonna be Tsundere Ice Cream picking up the kill onto the extremely fed enemy top laner. Now, Goblin, Arcane shifting forward, looking for the damage. Connects to their Mystic Shot. Vaunted barely hanging on. Oni-chan does go into the cell division. Now with a flash forward, Goblin picks up a kill onto the enemy Marksman. And now it's the side of Elventus pushing forward. They're going to match this mid lane tier 1. Yaya's looking for some damage on to Forget. He's going to eat a tower shot here as well. But now the LeBlanc going into her own passive. She's forced retreat underneath her tier 1. And Dragon, number 4, spawning in less than a minute.
Goblin, Barnden, and Tsundere Ice Cream do not want to go to game 3. They are doing their damnedest to make sure their team stays alive in this game. We were talking about, the gold deficit earlier at 15 minutes, but now that deficit is closing a significant amount just off of all those shutdowns that went back into Elventus's pockets, right? It's just about 1.5k now, which is huge compared to where the game was going.
Yeah, absolutely right there, man. Couldn't have said it better. And remember where that gold went. Spooky taking a lot of damage here. He's trying to go in, but he gets popped before he can even come down from the sky. He is the one who is split. And now it's the side of Elventus. There's no jungler on the enemy team. They should be able to tie up these dragons 2-2, but Lux is very low HP, and Meatloaf is still very strong on the Silas. They're a little bit split right now on the side of Elventus. They're not moving together as a team. They are getting into the river here. They're starting to take control, but Cho'Gath being locked up by the binding, taking a little bit of poke here from the Caitlyn. He is pretty beefy. He's not able to do a whole lot. Oni-chan flying in now, but Yaya is going to get rooted up, takes a binding straight to the face. He's going to go gold now, trying to buy some time. He's flashing away. Yaya actually staying alive. It's going to be Ezreal, who's shut down. And now Silas is still alive. Meatloaf dashing back in. He's looking for more once again here. Another final spark coming out. The cooldown on that is like 5 seconds already. Meatloaf looking for it. Steals away the final spark. Goes for it. Can't find it, and he gives it away. Tsundere picks up another kill. Meatloaf, the strongest member.
This is just another protracted dragon fight, just like the last game.
Prolonged dragon fight. Yeah, all these members are dying and respawning. The junglers are back. Chirps looking for another kill, and he has the beast flashing over the wall. He's gonna chomp down on Iona once again. Yaya looking for the response kill. Gets the enemy support, but Turp's running out of HP here. Yaya also going down. The Dark Binding connects, and it's gonna be Cho'Gath who falls next. Spooky extremely strong here on the Volibear. It's forcing the flash out from Forget. Volibear on the chase. He is going to land the Q, and he's flashing out of the gravity well, but Forget with the move speed from the phase rush, able to dodge out. He has Comet, not phase rush, but he's still very fast. Spooky still looking. Going back on all fours, but this arcane shift forward. Goblin got some of those shutdowns earlier that we were talking about here, True to Bacon. And this Ezreal is so strong. He's closing in on 3 items now.
Yeah, I mean, with that Divine Sunderer, he is just chomping through the health pool of Spooky, no matter how much max health you have. As long as you get those Sunderer procs,
might be in some trouble now. He's shifting out of the Sky Splitter, and now Spooky is going to take a lot of return damage here on the way out. And Oni-chan over the wall with the slingshot, able to just about get himself away to safety. And it was Dragon secured by the side of Elventus, so we have tied up those neutral objectives. Baron on the map, go for the final.
Oh my lord!
Iona almost got one shot.
Oh my goodness, and something I do want to call out here. This is a Cloud Soul map, right? And granted, Ezreal,
Oh
Lux, they
no.
don't care much about that soul, but what they would love to have are the stacks. They want their ults to be up as often as possible, and it's going to work wonders for them as far as fights are concerned. But the one who will like it a lot in this game is probably going to be Oni-chan for the side of Elventus, right? You pop the
Yeah.
Let's Bounce, you're able to run through the entire team, get all your knockups. But yeah, this is just a precarious situation now from what looked like a very strong game from Team Takeover. Because you take a look, Yaya no longer has any stacks on that Medjai's Soul Stealer.
Yep.
And it was just such a long dragon fight that ends up kind of punishing them. And something I do want to call out is that Meatloaf had hijack available. I feel like he was probably able to steal Terps's feast and therefore pressure the drag off of it, but he didn't. Instead, he tried to steal Sundar Ice Cream's final spark and then ate the final spark from the
Yeah.
Lux and got hard punished for it. And
Yep.
yeah, really dire straits now for the side of Elventus as it feels like the tempo is no longer in their hands. Oh
Okay,
dear.
that is a fine connecting. Cho'Gath taking a lot of damage here, but Zach planning for the counter engage. Silas and Cho'Gath both going down. Spooky trying to take this kill onto Oni-chan, but Zach has the passive. He's going into the cell division. Should be able to respawn here. Sundari flashing over the wall, looking for the damage. It's going to be Sundari going down, though, as Yaya able to burst him out. The chain connects onto Ezreal as well. Goblin trying to get some more damage down. Spooky is looking for it, though. He's able to get the stun, and there's the binding. Follow of Vaunted gets the kill onto Goblin. He goes down. Meanwhile, in mid lane, Iona will also fall. Both AE carries taken out. It was a fight that was won just barely by the side of Team Takeover, 3 for 2. May not be over just yet. Oni-chan is still on the map. He's extremely low, needs to get back to base and heal up.
Okay, I think we're safe. I think it's
so.
good. So like what happened there is it looked so good for Elventus initially, right? You saw Spooky, you saw Meatloaf just hard engaging, but the rest of their team, they weren't quite there yet. Meatloaf got blown up really quickly. Spooky tried to focus Oni-chan down with everybody else, but just popped the cell division passive. But what ended up happening was Forget tried to TP in, and Iona threw a trap down on his TP, stopped the Victor from joining the fight, and that gave vital time to Spooky, Vaunted, and Yaya to take out Goblin. Because if Goblin is able to stay alive there, the Volibear probably doesn't. And that was just absolutely huge for the side of Elventus. The single Caitlyn trap, making sure that they finally have another team fight victory. And oh, Terps,
Call out
a replay
trap. But yeah, now Terps, he is clutching something as he is running out of health. Vaunted going golden, going to try to deny that feast, and they will be able to pick up the kill. The final spark does a lot of work, did a lot of damage, but did not get any kills.
Yeah, I mean, it's hard chunks out Vaunted and Yaya, so they're in a bit of an awkward spot if they want to look for any more aggression. But yeah, Terps, he has a fair bit of armor, a little bit of magic resist, but at the end of the day, you cannot survive against this very much fed squad here between Spooky and Yaya with the additional CC from Vaunted. And whoa, is this a start on the Baron?
They're starting up the Baron, but Terps is alive in 10 seconds. He has teleport and ultimate. They're trying to burn it down right now. Lux is the only one really in the area. Victor's on the other side of the map. He has no way to get over here whatsoever. True Shot of Barrage is going to give them some vision. Baron is getting down pretty low, down to 3,000. I think it's gone here, True to Vega. It will be going over to the side of Team Takeover. Cloud Soul Point is spawning in 15 seconds. I don't know if they're going to be able to get over to contest for this. It looks like a Baron for a Cloud Dragon trade, but I feel like you have to take those for the side of Team Takeover.
Yeah, I mean, they might feel like the Baron is really, really important, and it is. But they take so long getting it, and they also get chunked out, that they can't go towards this drag. It should be an easy secure for the side of Elventus.
They're trying to come over here, but they are not going to be in time. It will get feasted upon by Terps. Now Goblin dashing forward, looking for some damage. Spooky trying to go in for the Q, but Ezreal has his team behind him, dude. You can't just go in like that. He's forced to flash over the wall to keep himself alive. Now Meatloaf also forced to flash and disengage here. Not really a great fight from Team Takeover. You were able to get the
Ooh, double
Baron. Oh,
knockup.
that's a Rupture on a 2. And there's Feast is not available. He used it on the Dragon. Iona's able to survive. And Zac is the one who's taken out. But Cho'Gath, he's trying to get this kill onto Silas Meatloaf. Barely able to stay alive with the healing. But no! Forget with the Death Ray. Able to pick up the kill onto the enemy top laner. It's a 1-for-1 now in the enemy jungle. Yaya trying to get some more done here. He'll be able to distort back and keep himself alive. Almost able to pick up the kill there onto Terps, but wasn't quite able to find it. And to the side of Takeover, you had the Baron, but just rushing into the river like that to try and look for a fight instead of playing in the lanes maybe cost him a little bit there.
Yeah, one thing that is rather vital, though, is that Tsundere Ice Cream was not there for the vast majority of that fight. The Lux elected to push the top lane in, maybe hope for the minions to finish that tower off by the time the fight broke out, which means that Elventus, they essentially took a 4v5 and fought rather evenly. That Lux represents a lot of their
No,
damage despite being 3, 7, and 6. So it's
for sure.
pretty huge that they're able to fight from that position. That being said, was a little bit of over-aggression that ended up costing Oni-chan his life there that time. But
Yeah.
yeah, they have to be very, very careful. Meatloaf did end up using the Feast and got an additional stack off the Zac. So this Silas is going to be getting bigger and bigger and healthier and healthier.
Definitely something to keep our eyes on. That's the thing. While we're on the subject of Meatloaf here, that's the thing. When you are the guy on your team who's very far ahead, who's really strong in the game, that's puts so much pressure on you to be able to carry, right? Your positioning has to be that much better. You are that much more important for the state of the game, as he is getting engaged on right now. Both Cho'Gath and Silas have the Feast available. Meatloaf going in for a little bit more healing here. Meanwhile, in bot lane, Spooky going in with the Stormbringer, able to turn off the tower, and they're able to get the kill onto Victor. Meatloaf dashing away now, doesn't really want to continue this 1v1 against the Cho'Gath. Finds it a little bit too risky. The rest of his squad will be able to take out that bot lane tier 2. Top laners disengage.
Yeah, and another thing that's worth drawing attention to here as the game has been getting going on. Yaya, now at 16 stacks on that Magi Soul Sealer, did not elect to sell it after hitting 0, and it's actually paid off by a whole ton. Now has another 300 gold bounty on his head, and this LeBlanc is getting scarier and scarier in terms of looking at one-shot potential headed into the late game. You need to take those Magi stacks off, and now there needs to be a little bit more focus to shut Yaya down, bring that damage way further lower. Because otherwise, Elventus, they're going to have a hard time keeping Goblin and keeping Tsundere Ice Cream alive.
Yeah, level 16 for the entire top side of Team Takeover here. Spooky, actually, highest level in the game, I believe. 17 on the Volibear. Really has been having a monster performance this game.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, like, you can see, though, that a lot of Spooky's itemization is oriented towards just staying alive, getting tankier. Like, Divine Sundra obviously gives you access to additional healing as well as having the Spirit Visage. But at this point, like, there's not much more, if any, damage at all that Spooky should be itemizing in. Really, it's you want to be a disruptive front line as well as you want to give your team that continuous ability to look for dives, especially as you get closer to the enemy base with your Stormbringer.
Definitely agree there. Oni-chan trying to catch up here on the Zac, but he's 3 levels down right now in the jungle. We are going to have a potential Cloud Soul in less than a minute here, True to Vega. Would be Cloud Soul for the side of Elventus, of course. And if the side of Team Takeover are able to pick it up, then we would be going to a 7-dragon game here. But what do you think we can expect in the minute leading up to this objective spawning?
So right now, neither team has really good vision set up around the river around the dragon. You do see a single control ward in the red side jungle for Elventus. It's not really going to be spotting anyone out from Team Takeover, but it does give you a little bit of an avenue to approach in because you know that they don't have vision there. The problem being, you need to find a way to either take Silas off the map so he doesn't have Feast. You also need to make sure that Spooky gets chunked out, or you need to pick Yaya off before the dragon begins. You do not want to flip the dragon and then look for a fight. You want to have setup and make the enemy team check into you so you can engage and you can start the fight on your terms if you are the side of Elventus. If you're the side of Team Takeover, I would say Vaunted, you need to go forward and you need to be walking with Spooky to start establishing better vision control. The one thing that they don't know though is there is an offensive control ward in their blue side jungle. It should be patching Vaunted out now. Does he see it? Yes.
We'll be able to spot that one out, clear out that deep vision that was placed by Elventus. One thing that I do want to really quickly highlight here is right just now, Forget has enough money to complete his Rabadon's death cap. So he does have the teleport. I would like to see Forget get back to base before this dragon spawns, complete that item. It'd be a very, very big spike on top of that level 16 for the victor. He's not going back just yet. The final spark comes out over the wall. Yeah, looking for the kill. Not going to find it just yet. Tsundere Ice Cream staying alive for now. And the same cannot be said for our man Vaunted down there. Yeah, over the wall. Is able to pick up that kill onto Lux. Finishes the job he started earlier, going golden now to buy himself a little bit of time. Caitlyn forced to flash away, trying to stay alive. Oni-chan throwing out the less bounce, trying to get this kill onto the enemy. Carry the flash in, and Terps with the feast once again. It's like the third time he's just flash hard Iona this game. And Iona's gone down every single time. That is a kill onto the victor. Forget went down. He wasn't able to complete his death cap. He lost that one. He won to Yaya off on the side there. You have a teleport coming down now. Goblin is very strong. They're able to get the kill onto the Zac, but Volibear also goes down. Both junglers taken out here. So it's a 2v2 on the map. Cho'Gath Ezreal versus Silas LeBlanc. Who's going to come out on top? Cho'Gath is pretty low HP here. Goblin going in by himself. You got to be careful. Yes, LeBlanc can just pop you so fast as the Ezreal.
Yeah, I mean, I think the teams do want to get a little bit of a reset in now, but something that actually looked so hairy for me as that fight was breaking out for Elventus was the fact that Tsundere Ice Cream got popped over the wall by Yaya, and then in addition to that, Meatloaf and Yaya tried to get on to Goblin and take out the Ezreal before the fight breaks out. Oh, well, that's a big shield.
Ooh, yeah, that's the stone plate popped there from Terps. Dragon has been started up here. The feast is available for the Cho'Gath. This would be, again, Cloud Soul if picked up by Elventus. Looks like they're going to secure it. The feast is good, and that is Cloud Soul for the blue team. Meatloaf going in now, though. They are going to be able to give it the kill onto Terps. Goblin taking a lot of damage from the LeBlanc there, but he's able to shift over the wall, keep himself safe. 5v4 on the map now. Baron is up. Would not be surprised to see Takeover go for this. Oh, Iona takes a lot of damage there from another final spark. Tsundere is going to have that one back up off cooldown in like 5 seconds here, guys. Watch for another big old beam of light to come out of the sky, coming for this Caitlyn. Iona has the most deaths on his team. He's got to try and keep himself safe here in these fights.
And Baron is getting started up here by the side of Team Takeover. It doesn't look like Elventus. They do put a ping onto it, but there's no contest.
No way. Yeah. Cannot get into the pit in time. Oni-chan was maybe going to look for some kind of steal, but he was not able to get over there. Spooky now over the wall with the Stormbringer, and he's going to get knocked back by the Let's Bounce trade of ultimates between the junglers. There is a nice binding. Meatloaf in some trouble. He's going but the True Shot Barrage does connect. He's barely still alive. The last auto attack. Goblin is able to pick himself up. Another shutdown on the Ezreal, and the damage from Tsundere is just crazy at this point. Able to pick up a kill onto Iona as well. Caitlyn going down once again here. Was able to get themselves out. The final spark comes out now. Connects this time around, but Yaya over the wall looking for this kill, goes gold, and he's able to buy enough time. But the Death Ray and the Ignite are enough to finish off LeBlanc now. It is Elventus with more members currently alive on the map. It's a Baron buff only remaining for Spooky and Vaunted at this point. They are going to be able to get themselves back to base. What looks like a strong play, picking up the Baron there, doesn't go their way when they go for the fight afterwards.
Yeah, Meatloaf got clipped by that final auto attack from Goblin, and it's that type of thing that you're going to think about after that game, because you know that is just such a blunder right there. Getting caught out off of, once again, over-aggression, trying to kill Oni-chan when you don't really have to. Oh no, Goblin, you're in a bad spot!
And the Dark Binding lasts too long. He can't escape. He's shut down by Spooky here on the Volibear. Meanwhile, in bot lane, Meatloaf and Terps returning to their 1v1 ways. Looks like Cho'Gath may have outscaled the Silence at this point. Meatloaf getting chopped down here, and one more auto attack. Terps didn't even break a sweat there. He's really turned it around from earlier on in this game.
Yeah, after earlier on in this game, that must feel great for Terps. Finally finding a solo kill. And that is a big boy. He also has Elixir of Iron and further increasing his size. But it looks like he's not going to last much
locked
longer.
Up by the binding here, and the Volibear should be able to take him out. But wait, what's this? Oni-chan flying in there with the elastic slingshot. He's able to buy some space. Vaunted Dream is separated from the play now. The massive Gargoyle Stone Plate does keep Terps alive. Now, Oni-chan is forced to retreat. Spooky is still extremely strong on the Volibear.
Watch out for Yaya on the collapse.
The bear is stunned, is going to go down onto Tsundere, and Lux does not have the HP to survive this. Tsundere is going to drop here. It's only a matter of time. Oni-chan flying back in now. Yaya off on the side. He's cut off the escape route for Terps. He's able to pick up the kill out of the Cho'Gath. Now Oni-chan trying to run away, trying to get away, but Spooky is going to be able to pick up the kill. Still a potential Baron power play for the side of Takeover, but their AD carry has been taken out again up here in top side. The Stormbringer going in from the Volibear is going to be able to corral Tsundere into the minion wave there. They do take out the Lux. Meanwhile, on the top side, Forget takes that top lane tier 2. Meatloaf looks for the punish here. She'll be able to find it. Forget on the wrong side of the rift, and he will eventually go down here. Shut down for Meatloaf. Gets himself some money back here on the Silas. Almost full build, actually. But this game, it just gets crazier here, True to Vega.
Yeah, I mean, it's absolutely wild how much these teams are just completely unwilling rather, to give anything up to the enemy team. It's just constant fight after fight after fight, punch and punch and punch. And what is occurring now is that these death timers are starting to get super, super long. So if somebody does get caught out before a vital objective, like the Elder coming up in under 2 minutes, or the Baron coming up, just after that, it could be absolutely catastrophic for either of these teams. One thing that I really do think is just important is just checking these stacks of the Medjais on Yaya, right? 23 stack Medjai's LeBlanc is going to be super, super dangerous. And at this point, they need to find a way, and they being Elventus in this case, need to find a way to stop the LeBlanc up, because she is just having so much pressure onto Tsundere Ice Cream, onto Goblin, even onto someone like Oni-chan, who doesn't have too much health or resistances in this pocket.
Yeah, I mean, they...
Oh, no!
Okay, Caitlyn getting caught out once again here, perhaps. Oni-chan with the Let's Bounce. Getting a lot of damage down onto the enemy marksman, but Iona kiting it out. Able to stay alive for now, but the Flash Feast again! Terps has just had Iona's number all game. Every time he's roamed down, it's worked out quite well for the big Void monster as a binding over the wall, but it's just revealed the position of Vaunted. He has the Black Shield. He's going to prevent himself from getting knocked up into the air. Yeah, waiting in the bush, but I don't know if you can really do a whole lot to this Cho'Gath. Sorry, LeBlanc, I know you're pretty fed, but he's just so beefy.
Yeah, I mean, I do see there.
Oni-chan now flying in, looking for another engage. Final start coming out. Yeah, diving in there. Is able to pick up the kill onto Tsundere Ice Cream. That is pretty massive. The Lux at this point in the game is definitely considered a carry, I think. So, yeah, able to find that kill, prevent the siege. Able to find another kill. Picks off Forget inside the jungle here. Yeah, doing some work on the LeBlanc. He's just finding these picks so successfully right now. Next to change there as well, but cannot stick around long enough to get the root. Goblin is still alive. The Ezreal is still a threat here. There's just no way to lock down this LeBlanc. The Rupture does connect there. There's a Mystic shot. Yeah, down to 50%. Beast is available. Just need a little bit more. And he distorts in right into Cho'Gath's belly. But he does get the kill onto the Cho'Gath as well. Now Oni-chan extremely low. He's going to get locked up for the binding. Going into the Cell Division now for the True Shot Barrage. A little bit too early. The Zhonya's hadn't timed out yet. And it's going to be Ezreal and Zac both going down. It's a clean ace for the side of Team Takeover. They're teleporting into the mid lane. They're going to get the Elder Dragon here. It is Tsundere Ice Cream still alive. 15 seconds on the Victor. It's going to be the big dragon, the big objective going over here. Not sure if they're going to be able to end it just yet, but it's looking more and more like a Team Takeover victory here in Game 2.
Yeah, and that was just blunder of catastrophic proportions over and over from the side of Elventus. starting it off. Like, I don't believe they should be pushing mid in when they already get the picks onto Spooky, onto Vaunted. You don't need to stick around. You don't need to shove in. You need to set up vision around the entrances. So once again, you can take a fight on your terms. But what did they do? They shoved in, and Yaya found an angle. One shot Sundar Ice Cream, then forget right after that. And afterwards, Goblin tried to do, whatever he could to win that fight, but unfortunately mistimed Arcane Shift. Wanted to use Shift to either finish off Meatloaf or Yaya, ended up getting neither, blown up for it. And that means that these double, like, late game and, like, potentially game ending buffs go over to the side of Team Takeover. And Elventus, they're getting aggressive in the face of a Baron and Eldered up team right now. At
Yeah,
least with their
pushing
position.
once again pretty far forward. Pretty aggressive positioning, like you're saying there, man. Now the siege will likely soon commence. True Shot Barrage just to get a little bit of damage down on the wave here. The Cloud Soul, remember, is still held by Elventus, so the Ezreal and Lux ultimates are extremely low cooldowns. But the side of Team Takeover are playing on all 3 lanes. They're closing in from all sides. They're trying to stall out this bot lane push while Cho'Gath and Ezreal move up towards the top side. Victor in mid. See if one of these lanes is able to be cracked by the side of Team Takeover here. Caitlyn, that auto range, gets good damage down onto that mid lane tier 3.
Oh gosh, Yaya is so low.
Yeah,
Like,
Zach is going in with the elastic slingshot. Yaya barely clinging to life right now. Will be able to walk it off. Forget another death ray over the wall. Gets good damage down. The flash binding is flashed away from Vaunted. Good response there. Good reaction time from our boy Vaunted. Meatloaf, meanwhile, up here on the top side. He's going to be able to take out that top lane tier 3. So that's 2 inhibitor turrets down for the side of Elventus. Not sure how much longer Team Takeover has on this Elder buff.
looks like it just expired on the Elder.
Right. See if the side of Elventus are able to find an angle here. The Yaya is not with the team right now. He's walking down mid lane right now. Iona is just going to get absolutely sniped out by Tsundere, and now the chains connect. Meatloaf going in for an engage onto Goblin, but he went a little bit too far forward once again, and he's shut down by the Victor. Now the True Shot Barrage coming out. Spooky was trying to follow up on that play from his top laner, but now he's finding himself in some trouble. He's going to get taken out as well. It's an inhibitor, and that last inhibitor turret in the bot lane was taken as well, but they give over 3 kills. Side of Elventus, Final Spark going wide this time. Binding connects. It's going to be Vaunted and Yaya may be able to make it out, but that's a knock-up. Vaunted used the black shield on his mid laner, had nothing for himself, and he's going to get taken out as well. 4 kills now, given over to the side of Elventus. They don't have a base, but they do have everybody alive and nobody on their opponent's team.
Yeah, and it's just really, really miscoordinated from the side of Team Takeover, right? They were crashing the waves in appropriately, but it looks like they didn't have much of a plan on what they wanted to do after they take the towers. Did they want to pressure for a fight? Did they want to just back off because their Elder had expired? And that lack of decision making there ended up causing Meatloaf and Spooky their lives. Iona, unfortunately, Iona got one shot. There's nothing that Iona can do in this game to stay alive. Like, this has just been a really rough game for Caitlyn. Okay, like, I don't really think there's anything that this Caitlyn can do in the hopes of staying alive at this point. Like, you have to flash
feasted.
Yeah, like, yeah, like, no matter what you do, if one single Tsundere Ice Cream just used Lux Altus clear Krugs, but like, the only thing you can do is just stay back and hope the enemy team hits everybody else. But yeah, like, every single member of Team Takeover ended up losing their lives off of like, really just miscoordinated plays, with the exception of Yaya, who's still sitting on those 25 Magi stacks. But now the game is kind of all gone even again as as Elventus clears out this mid lane, takes out the supers from it for now, because the Elder's coming up in just about a minute and the Baron 30 seconds after them.
Yeah, River control currently held by the side of Team Takeover. Spooky going in with the stun now. Chirp's walking in here, starting off this fight, but he's taking a lot of damage. Shot brush over the top. The Gargoyle Strip Blade is procced. Iona trying to run away. He does burn the flash to get over the wall to safety.
Oh, yeah, down.
Goblin now getting engaged on. He's getting taken out by Meatloaf. That's the first kill of the fight. Looking good potentially for Elventus here, but no. Meatloaf over the wall. He just barely gets shot in the face by a laser from Victor for getting able to pick up the kill there. They are still getting pushed back on the side of Elventus. It was a 2-for-1 in favor of Elventus, but their blinking health bars means they are not able to easily continue here.
Yeah, but this is the golden opportunity to be had if there was one for them. Yaya and Meatloaf taken off the map, at least for the next 30 seconds. That's a 20-second window that the Elder is up. And it's only Spooky who can really be any means of dissuasion against this Elder take. You also still have TP there on Forget to be able to join the fight so long as there is a ward from one of his teammates to get in there. And this should just be that, unfortunately, you got to stall out, give time. And Vaunted gets sniped! My goodness.
Oh, man. The Lux ults at this point, they're just so nasty. The cooldown is just ridiculously low. And it seems like every other one gets a kill.
Oh, now, TP into the bot lane.
More numbers advantage for the side of Elventus. They're once again taking control over the spot side river. But yeah, the attempted backdoor here for Meatloaf. He's looking for some more inhibitors potentially. While the rest of his team, they're trying to corral Terps here. But look, he's walking forward. He's looking for the Caitlyn again. It's going to be the final spark that finishes the job. Now Volibear is looking to try and turn this fight around, but he's surrounded by all these Elventus members. Yaya over the wall is able to pick up the kill onto the enemy top laner. Meanwhile, Meatloaf dashing away down here in bot lane is going to be able to keep himself safe. Elventus, remember, strong, still in the river here, but Yaya is so dangerous on this LeBlanc. You have to play with so much respect to this guy. He can blow up anybody at this point. Final spark and not gonna find its mark. Yaya still off on the flank here. Meatloaf on the other side. Will they try and do something crazy here? They don't have a smite. They don't have a realistic way of securing the objective, and they will just back off in the end. Elder going over to Elventus, and I have to imagine that Baron should be to follow. And really quick, could I get your game time, man? I think I'm behind.
Yeah, I'm a bit ahead. I am at 50, 15, 16, 17, 18.
28,
where are you at?
29. Okay. Can you keep counting for a second? Okay, I'm good now.
Okay, I'm synced.
Alrighty, so
yeah,
Baron is alive. Elder still held by the side of Elventus here. Ogath is alive, my death timer glitched out. Cho'Gath should be alive soon. Taking up positions around the Baron now. He does have the teleport on the Cho'Gath, so he could potentially join the play when he does respawn. Baron now under fire. I can't see Baron. I have a couple of visual bugs going on right now here, guys.
Well, I mean, I will say right now, Elventus has started up. Oh, it's a steal!
The steal from Vaunted over the wall, able to pick up the objective. Onichan now trying to get something back. But he's just going into the cell division now, and Yaya so threatening here. But the rest of the team Elventus, they're moving forward. They're able to cover for their jungler. He gets back up. They're pressing forward now, but that steal was so massive for the side of Team Takeover. Vaunted coming up clutch here. Teleport coming down into this bot lane. Will Terps, it's Forget actually, into the bot lane here. He is low 18 on the Victor. Should be able to get this tier 2 turret at least.
I mean, that steal was absolutely massive from Vaunted. It would have given Elventus such an avenue for pushing power. Oh, man!
Like, do we even need to say it at this point?
What I will say was so funny about that, though, that was the very last second of Elder, I think. They still had. I think they still had it for a little bit, but man, Elder buff is so tilting to play against. Ooh, but wait, there's a massive minion wave in top lane.
There is, yeah. That inhibitor could be in trouble here. Onichan looking to back, but he's getting attacked by minions, so it's not going to work out for him.
Yeah,
I believe, get back and defend those.
Yeah, Elventus probably will be losing this inhibitor off of that, just that alone.
There it goes. Minions are on the Nexus towers now, but look at this. They're able to get a pick onto the Silas. Meatloaf going down once again. That's one of the strongest members on Team Takeover. And now it's going to be Volibear dropping as well. A couple more kills picked up by Elventus. Are they actually going to turn this game around, True to Vega? They were so far down. Takeover was in such a position of power. Yaya is one-shotting people left and right, but they're only down to 2 members alive. And Elventus is on the push for the Nexus.
Yeah,
Towers
it is
are under
only
fire.
It's only Yaya alive. 19 stacks on this Medjai's could be.
Oh, he's
huge.
going in. He's able to
Got
get
one.
1 kill. The final spark is not going to connect. He is trying to go for the hero play, but he's not going to be able to find it. And in the end, 88 to 94, 53 minutes. But in the end, Elventus take the series 2-0.
Man, that was a wild second game. So much back and forth, but Elventus, they sustained the storm that was Team Takeover, and they didn't let the game go. They were able to win it out. 53 minutes, a huge timer on this game, and take a quick look at the damage, if you will. And
everybody got level 18 for that one.
I think it really speaks for itself when you can see the Victor, Ezreal, and Lux for the side of Elventus all doing, let's see, 55k for the Lux, 68 for Ezreal, 62 for Victor. Just so much work had to get put in for them to get this second win and close out the series. Absolutely massive game.
Yeah, they were able to pull it out in the end. It definitely went long. After how that early game went, it was going to have to go long for Elventus to pull it out. And remember, we did discuss a little bit how they had some strong scaling on their side. They were able to utilize that to get the victory in the end. I do think we should give some props over to Vaunted Dream there, coming in for the side of Team Takeover in support position there. Had that really clutch Baron steal. Had some nice bindings as well. He had some strong moments. Almost was able to help his squad get a win here tonight, but it was not to be, as Elventus able to take a relatively convincing victory.
Yeah, I mean, after a game like that, that's the type of thing that both teams, they just want to go to sleep. It's 53.5-minute game, absolutely ridiculous in terms of game length. But like you said, Elventus, they were the ones who came out on top tonight. Very much, I will say, very much off the back of Goblin Barndon and Sundar Ice Cream in this second game here, just holding it down, letting their team get back into it. Also, give Terps Untiltable, man.
Yeah, he was down so bad in the early minutes, but he turned it around so well towards the end there. And also Goblin, props for game 1. He was going off on the vein in that one as well. Great series overall for the carry team.
Yeah, absolutely.
True to Vega, if you had to choose a player of the series, who would you give it to?
Oh man, that's difficult. And for me, it would either have to be Goblin or Sundar Ice Cream. But I think off of game 1 and game 2, I'd have to give it to Goblin.
Yeah, definitely. Well, I think that is pretty much all we had scheduled for tonight, guys. We don't have any post-game interviews, right? Team's probably too tired after that one. Sounds good. So I think we are going to be finishing up the stream here. Thank you guys all so much for watching. From myself here, from True to Vega, from the entire production team over here at Style Esports, we thank you guys so much. Before I go, I should also mention, I believe we have a Patreon now. So do check that out. It's going to help us create the best possible content for you guys. We love working on the Style League here. And that's only going to enable us to do more and do better. So feel free to check that out. But for tonight, that's going to do it for us. True to Vega, you got any last words for the stream?
No, I think you really encapsulated all of it. Obviously, thanks to MXL for holding down production this evening. But yeah, I hope everyone has a good night.
That's going to be us signing off. Take care, everyone, and stay safe.